Have you ever heard a catchy song on the radio and thought, wow, that's a great tune? But then later in a music class, someone talks about the melody? It can feel a bit confusing, like trying to pick out the subtle differences between two very similar, yet distinct flavors. So, is a tune the same as a melody? Well, yes and no. A melody is the specific sequence of pitches and rhythms that form a musical idea, often the most memorable part of a song. A tune is a more general term, often used informally, that describes a simple, catchy, and easily recognizable melody, sometimes even referring to the entire song itself. To understand this better, let's dive into the core of what makes music tick. A melody is a fundamental element of music, defined by its carefully constructed contour, its rise and fall in pitch, and its rhythmic organization. Think of it as the musical line that you can hum or sing. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end, creating a sense of direction and often emotion. It is built using musical scales and intervals, giving it a particular character, whether it sounds happy, sad, or exciting. A tune, on the other hand, usually implies a melody that is particularly memorable, often simple enough to be learned and sung by almost anyone. While all tunes are melodies, not all melodies are tunes. For instance, a complex classical piece might have many intricate melodies, but only one or two might be considered tunes in the catchy sense. Practically speaking, when you're creating your own music, understanding this distinction can be quite helpful. If you are aiming for a catchy pop song, you are specifically trying to craft a tune that sticks in people's heads, focusing on simplicity and repetition. This might involve using a limited range of notes and clear, distinct rhythmic patterns. If you are writing a more elaborate instrumental piece, you might be focused on developing several different melodies that interact and evolve throughout the composition, exploring more complex intervals and rhythmic variations, which might not be immediately singable by a casual listener. To create a strong tune, try focusing on a core musical phrase, repeating it, and then varying it slightly to maintain interest without losing its catchiness. You can also sing it aloud to yourself to see if it naturally feels easy to remember. Here is an insider tip for you. Music theorists often discuss motivic development, which is how a small melodic idea, a motif, can be transformed and expanded into a full melody and even an entire composition. A truly great tune often starts with a very strong, concise motif. For example, the famous four-note opening of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony is a motif that is instantly recognizable and developed throughout the entire first movement. It is a powerful example of a motif becoming an unforgettable tune. This interplay between small melodic ideas and larger musical phrases is what gives many memorable pieces their enduring appeal. Ultimately, whether you call it a tune or a melody, both terms describe the horizontal aspect of music, the sequence of notes that tells a musical story. By recognizing that a tune is essentially a particularly memorable and often simpler kind of melody, you can approach your own musical creations with greater clarity. This distinction helps you to intentionally craft musical lines that are either broadly appealing and singable, or deeply expressive and intricate, depending on your artistic vision. It empowers you to think about the impact and memorability of the musical ideas you are developing.